Kia ora everyone, my name's Zach, I love rugby, welcome back to Hakatime Rugby. Well, I'm out guys, I'm outside, I'm freestyling this one a little bit. Don't know how the sound's going to come out, but let's just wait and see how we go. What I really wanted to do though was get this video out analysing the game. Even though I'm on holiday at the moment, I was able to catch the game, although I was refreshing it quite a lot throughout the game, which actually gave me some interesting insights into the game. It meant that I could see the structures a lot better because there were pauses in the play. I'm going to just free roll this, guys. Normally I would edit the video a little bit more and just sort of be a little bit more coherent, but right now I'm just going to speak, tell you what I thought of the game, and let's see where we land. So, firstly, congratulations to Ireland. You know, this was not just a monumental, historic, and I think the word historic gets thrown around far too often. You know, there are firsts all the time now in world rugby, and that is because the power balance has shifted. Make no mistakes, Ireland, and I mentioned it in my preview to a degree, Ireland are one of the best teams in the world, and I think only now, what probably hurts a lot of Kiwi fans right now, is that only now are they realising it. So, huge congratulations. I think the word historic does get overused a little bit, but this was historic. A series win in New Zealand, it's only happened 3 times, congratulations. And we've spoken about the key points that make Ireland so dangerous, and they were on full display in this game. So, obviously, cohesion in that team, the forward momentum, the great work at the breakdown. Josh van der Fleer was just incredible. Tyke Byrne was incredible. I mean, these guys just dominated the breakdown, made it very difficult for the All Blacks to build continuity, and as a result, run away with the victory quite easily. At halftime, one of the commentators mentioned it, that is the largest deficit the All Blacks have ever faced in their history. 650, 70, whatever it is, number of tests. That is the worst deficit the All Blacks have seen. So that in itself is historic. I mean, it's just crazy some of the firsts that are coming up from this team. And I know how Kiwi fans are going to be feeling. You know, there were calls for Foster's head beforehand. Those calls will only grow louder now. And I'm going to tell you, I've tried to be balanced, I've tried to be fair, I've tried to be down the middle, I've tried to give props where they are due. But in this one, there's a couple of points I think that we have to acknowledge. That means this position for Ian Foster, and possibly even Sam Cane, is no longer tenable. So, let's get to the rear. Ireland came out fast as per usual. So, able to score the try just from good forward momentum. But what was really telling was passing up the penalty goal to go for the try. That's a real statement of intent early in a game. Just a huge statement of intent. And it's one of those that if you actually pull it off, well, firstly, it shows your mentality, you are here to win, and that's huge. Secondly, if you pull it off, it's a psychological advantage in the early stages of the deciding test of this series. So I thought the confidence to go for that play at that time just showed the evolution that this Ireland team have made. So that was fantastic. And it was just a continuation from that point. So one thing that really stood out to me about the All Blacks was that they were playing a super conservative game, right? So kick the ball, challenge the high balls, trying to play territory. I think they probably overcorrected a little bit too much from game 2. I know that Ian Foster came out and he said pretty clearly he thought the All Blacks should have played more conservatively, and they didn't. I think they completely overcorrected in this game and played far too conservatively in that first half. And the biggest issue for me, and this is why I think that the position of Ian Foster is untenable, he doesn't know who his best team is. He is coaching by trial and error right now. And I feel that showing an All Blacks that is playing a far more Northern Hemisphere style of play just shows that Ian Foster is not the man for the job, right? That looked laboured, it looked just like there was a real lack of cohesion and unwillingness to play that style of just sort of territory first ball. And as a result, you know, the All Blacks suffer their biggest deficit at halftime in their history. So to me, the All Blacks trying to adapt by playing a more Northern Hemisphere style of rugby is not the way that they will be successful. Unfortunately for the All Blacks, the key is to live and die by attacking rugby. That is in our DNA, and that is the only way that the All Blacks will get back to that position of strength. So, 22-3 at halftime. A couple of other observations from that game leading up to halftime. I thought Cody Taylor had probably his poorest performance in an All Blacks jumper. You know, the line-out was a real strength of the All Blacks in this series. They were dominating the line-out and able to, steal a number of line-out balls off of Ireland. But in this game, the throwing was off, the timing was off. I thought that, it went from a strength of the All Blacks to a weakness of the All Blacks. And that's something that is really, really sort of difficult to process because, you sort of add in the difficulty in maintaining your own ball with the fact that you're playing a style that you're not used to, kicking for territory predominantly, and then couple that with losing your own line out, it's just a recipe for difficulty. And I think that those things, as well as just, we have to give credit to Ireland. The way that they played, there was nothing special, and I mean that with the greatest respect, in that everyone knows exactly what Ireland are going to do. They did it and they executed at a very, very high level. And as a result, the All Blacks were powerless to stop them. So I give them full credit for the way that they performed. But also we need to look at sort of the failings of the All Blacks, I think, in their performance leading up to that half time. So what happens in the second half? The All Blacks change tact and go back to the All Blacks that we all know and are, familiar with. And as a result, we're able to put pressure on Ireland. Now, a number of tries, the Ardie Savea try, right? If Foster is in trouble, which I believe he is, therefore Kane is potentially in trouble, which I believe he is, Ardie Savea is your captain, right? There is no more willing participant than Ardie Savea. Ball in hand, every run is effective, and he's really a leader by actions more so than words. And I feel the reverse might be true for Sam Cane. He's a leader in words more so than action. That was just an observation for the game, but through the great work of Ardie Savea, a number of the forwards, a bit more willingness to run, the All Blacks were able to claw their way back into this game. And at one stage, I believe it was 22-25. So they were right back in it. To Ireland's credit, and this is where, the narrative of the story lies for me. Or I should say the narrative of the series lies for me. Is that Ireland went from a team that were comfortable winning one game, right, to getting that game, to feeling confident about their performance, to beating the Māori All Blacks. And I think that was another key step in the evolution of the squad, because it was another data point to say we can play in New Zealand and we can win against New Zealand teams. To win against the Māori, to come in on just a confidence high, and as I mentioned, to go for the try in the early stages, to pull that off, to face New Zealand's counter-attack, which I think Andy Farrell would have been well aware that, a wounded All Blacks in that third test, starting to storm back, bring the game back to 25-22. And then Ireland had the counterpunch. So they were able to go down the other end of the field. Ty Byrne with the unbelievable work at the breakdown, steal the ball yet again, get territory advantage, and then just take their opportunity to score the try to push the game out of reach 32-22. Final score, 32-22. What was telling to me, though, in the dying stages, Sam Cane was pulled, right? On comes Dalton Papali'i, and who does Ian Foster make captain? Ardie Savea. Now, it wasn't long enough for us to get any sort of real read, but I thought that was quite a poetic end to that test, and possibly to the tenure of Ian Foster, right? He has been a coach who has coached by trial and error. His selections have been baffling at times. The early announcement of Sam Cane as the captain really painted this selection panel into a corner and coaching staff into a corner. And it took almost all of his games, including the series, for him to realise that maybe Sam Cane should sit and maybe Ardie Savea is the best man for this job. Now, that may be proven to be quite a poetic outcome to all of this, right? And I know a lot of Kiwi fans will want to see that, myself included. I think it's time to acknowledge the failings here. I think there is going to be many, many postmortems in the wrap-up of this. And at the end of the day, I think we've seen one of the great test matches and one of the great test evolutions of Ireland. So, I'm going to end the video now, guys. Huge congratulations to Ireland, much respect. And to All Blacks fans, let's hope the right decisions get made here, because it is never too late to switch things up. I do want to dive into one talking point now. Let's say that Ian Foster is outed as All Black coach. We need to remember that the Springboks famously did a similar activity, 2018 I believe it was, when they were hammered by the All Blacks. So to All Blacks fans, it is not too late, right? And I believe there were many positives in this test for the All Blacks, albeit it doesn't look or feel like it. But I just believe the style they were forced to play, the constraints that were placed on them, are the reason that this position is untenable for Ian Foster. And with that, let's hope the right decisions now can be made to rectify the ship and get the mighty black jersey back on track. Much love, everyone. Stay safe. Don't be bitter about the result. Be happy for the experience. That's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Peace.